Our off-roader churned up plumes and skid marks in its wake. Hard rubber ground against brown sand, it struggled to stay afloat. We were a couple dozen miles out from Window Rock. Our archaeological team had decided that the Navajo Nation was a splendid candidate for a dig. One legal hill later and we were there. I rode with a tour guide. He was a walking culture trap, decked out in long hair and turquoise beads and traditional clothing, and he was utterly charming. So, have you ever been to Arizona? Yeah, actually. When I was 21 or 22, a few friends and I decided we'd take a road trip from Buckeye to Malibu, Cincinnati to Los Angeles. It was spring break, so we got to see the Sonoran swell with water in bloom. He smiled out the window and at the dry air. Beautiful, isn't it? Our hair were tied back into two ponytails. There were streamers slipping out in the air. My church and I met out there for a weekend. It was awesome. Oh yeah? You guys stationed at the Rock? That's what you like to call it? He laughed. Of course, that's where we can do the most for the community. The conversation turned a little somber. Really poor out here, huh? Definitely. He gave a weak smile. That's why we do our best. I thought of the Rorschach splatter shared between the state, the Navajo, and the Hopi. Hey! Well, that was abrupt. Are you guys looking for anything specific, or are you just shooting the shit on what you think's a pretty good lead? I laughed. I'm looking for Todd fossils. A team a few years back struck one up in Utah. Figured you may get just as lucky. Todd? Honey, Todd lurk out here all the time. Out where the rocks get choked out by dunes. He couldn't be serious. You're telling me that dinosaurs are out here stomping around the American West? I laughed. He just shook his head and grinned. You must not get out to the desert much, Miss Buckeye. We drove for about another 20 minutes, continuing to talk small about such things like the Venezuelan crisis, and the beauty and wrath of the desert, and so forth. But soon, almost immediately, a lash of sand and gale wrapped around us. The pallid little sun had been replaced by a brown, shrapnel wind. We were furiously scrambling for all the windows, rolling up the roof, panicking for a shell of glass and steel. Protected. It sounded like a rainstorm outside. Just patters on the roof and windows. You okay? I exhaled. He was frozen though, looking ahead. Drive. That's all he could say. I looked at him confused, and then I saw it. There was a shadow in the desert, a ghost in the storm. It looked like a man, peeling in and out of the whirl around us. The eyes were eggshell matte, glowing black and turquoise, and it was almost 8 feet tall. Drive! I just floored it. There was a crash, and we smashed our heads against the airbags. All that remained was a monstrous scream and a now clear wind. And soon, we made it to the camp. As soon as we arrived, though, a squall bubbled up overhead. It frothed into a tempest, then ran over a sudden, horrible storm. We heard a shriek, crackling lightning down from the wavy sky. Oh no. It cried again, and electricity roared down. We all stood frozen, looking up at the black and the flashes. I heard about this from a friend from another tribe up in Washington. Thunderbird.